I'm Angel Treesa from the Department of Physician Associate. So today my presentation is about the excitation contraction coupling of the skeletal muscle. So the specific learning objectives are, at the end of the session, the audience will be able to define the events taking place in the neuromuscular junction, explain the electrical and mechanical response during the muscle contraction, describe sliding action of the filaments. So introduction is that the excitation contraction coupling is a physiological process that links the electrical signal in a muscle fiber to the mechanical response. Each skeletal muscle fiber receives motor innervations from the somatic motor neuron at the neuromuscular junction. So this is how the innervation looks like. So each muscle fiber is innervated by neurons. The signal from the brain reaches the muscle fiber, and when the nerve terminal excites, the signal is passed on to the muscle fiber through the neurotransmitters. So this is how the neuromuscular junction looks like. The structures of neuromuscular junction are the nerve terminal, we call it as the presynaptic membrane, and the space between the neuron and the muscle fiber is called as synaptic cleft, and the muscle fiber, the beginning of the muscle fiber, is called as postsynaptic membrane. The sarcoplasmic reticulum is a structure which is placed in between the myofibrils, and the speciality of sarcoplasmic reticulum is that the sarcolemma, which is the covering of the myofibril, have evaginations, which is also called as T-tubules, and on the either sides there are two tubules called as longitudinal tubules, and both T-tubules and L-tubules together are called as triad. Inside the same way, the in between myofibrils we have this fluid called as sarcoplasm, in which the myofibrils are immersed. Sarcoplasmic reticulum are L-tubules, and they store the calcium ions. The neuromuscular transmission. So when the nerve receives the signals, that is the arrival of nerve impulse, calcium channels open at the nerve terminal. So the calcium enter into the nerve terminal where the calcium concentration increases now. So the vesicles which carry the acetylcholine will be released from the nerve terminal. Acetylcholine binds to the receptors on the muscle membrane, which will lead to the opening of ligand-gated channels when a chemical change happens in the muscle fiber. So which will lead to the entry of sodium ions into the muscle fibers. As soon as the end plate potential develop, it will lead to the opening of voltage gated sodium channels, and then the action potential develops. Release of acetylcholine. So as soon as the acetylcholine is released from the vesicles because of the increased concentration of calcium ions in the nerve terminal, the acetylcholine gets attached to the nicotinic receptor, which is placed on the muscle fiber. Binding of acetylcholine to the nicotinic receptors. When the acetylcholine binds to the nicotinic receptors, there is opening of the sodium-potassium channels. So there is more influx of sodium into the muscle fiber, which will lead to the development of the action potential. Propagation of action potential along the sarcolemma. As soon as the action potential develop, it propagates along the sarcolemma, which will also innervate the T-tubules. So as soon as the signal reaches the T-tubules, there are two receptors which are placed, one on the T-tubule called as dihydropyridine receptor, and the other on the L-tubule called as ryanodine receptor. So these signals will trigger these two receptors, which will lead to the release of the calcium ions from the calciquestrin, which is a storage place inside the L-tubule. This is how the calcium is released from the receptor. And there are two filaments called as actin and myosin filament, which is also called as thick and thin filament. Myosin is the thick filament and actin is the thin filament. So the calcium which has been released by the L-tubules will go and attach to the site of troponin C. Troponin is one of the part of the actin, and troponin has three sites: troponin C, I and T. Troponin C is for the attachment of calcium, troponin T is for the attachment of tropomyosin, and troponin I is for the attachment of actin. So the calcium which has been released goes and attached to the troponin C. which will lead to the sliding action of the actin and myosin. As soon as the calcium attaches to the troponin C, the sliding action takes place. So the first process that takes place is that the perpendicular attachment of the myosin to the actin, which is called as cross bridge. This takes place when the ATP is hydrolyzed into ADP and PI. And the second step is the power stroke. The myosin will pull the active filaments closer. And when again a new ATP attaches to the myosin, the detachment of the myosin and actin takes place. So I would like to summarize that nerve impulse reaches the neuromuscular junction, calcium enters the axon terminal and releases the acetylcholine. Acetylcholine binds to the receptor, generates end plate potential. Acetylcholine spreads along sarcolemma and T tubules. Sarcoplasmic reticulum releases calcium ions. Calcium bind to troponin, actin and myosin interact. Cross-bridge cycling causes muscle contraction. These are my references. Thank you.